and welcome here to Talk FCB, and welcome back to another video. Because yes, earlier on today we had been speaking over on More Talk FCB about transfers, about the rumours, because honestly guys, this summer, I cannot stress this enough, it is going to be crazy. It really does have that feel about it right now, and for that reason, today, here once again, we're talking about Ronald Koeman. Because despite the feeling that we all had yesterday that Ronald Koeman would most likely continue as the Barcelona coach, is that still the case? Or does Joan Laporta actually still want to sack him? It is all coming up. Let's get to it. Come on. Because indeed, just to recap on yesterday, we had the meeting there between Joan Laporta and Ronald Koeman. We waited all day to see the two of them come face to face. In the morning, Laporta met only with Koeman's agent. Koeman was not present in that meeting, which in itself, that was curious to me. Maybe in that meeting, it was discussed there about exactly what it would take to release Koeman from his contract, the amount of millions that we will need to pay to cut that short if Laporta chooses to go down that route. And then in the afternoon, the meeting actually between the Barcelona board members, Laporta, Almani, Yuste, Koeman and his agent, it only lasted about 30 to 40 minutes long, which wasn't a long time really to evaluate the season, to discuss the future, and it was all over very, very quickly. Now, the immediate aftermath to that meeting, it was sort of the feeling that, you know what, Koeman, he's going to stay. He came out of it smiling, he looked pretty happy. Then we heard from his agent, who was also really, really upbeat on what they just discussed. He said, the feeling I get is a really, really positive one. He said, if you want, in my opinion, Koeman is going to continue at Barca, and he said, I think it's even possible that Ronald could even stay longer than 2021 to the 2022 season, but he did say, we're not that far along yet, because more conversations have to follow. But indeed, it did not take long then for things to start changing just a little bit, because then the media started saying, you know what, the feeling that we're getting right now, the news that we're receiving from the club, is that actually no definitive decision was made on Koeman's future. That is why there's going to be more meetings. That's why yesterday's meeting was not the definitive one that we were expecting. And it has not been decided yet that Koeman is either staying or that he's going. And I just want to bring you a few more reports there, because indeed it then came out from El Chiringuito. Now I have to say they're not the most reliable of sources by any means, but they went on to say last night that actually it may not be the 7.5 to 8 million euros that we thought it would cost to sack Koeman this summer. Actually, that could rise to around 13 million euros, and that could be one of the reasons right now as to why Laporta is stalling on this decision. And then it was really interesting. I think actually the most significant quotes came from a journalist there called Canut, who's actually one of the people really, really close on a personal level to Ronald Koeman. And he spoke out there. He was only giving his opinion, but it was an interesting insight, because he said, I can imagine that Ronald Koeman is really angry right now. He said the disrespect that he's experiencing is reaching unbelievable levels. He said if you want to save time, don't even bother calling him to do this meeting. The management has weakened him by playing with him just as they're doing now. Now, he said all that stuff. He didn't really elaborate too much on that. He didn't really give any extra information, but it was his belief, a man who's really close to Koeman, that he was being disrespected and that he was almost being played with, which has now prompted even more reports to come, and especially there, a reliable one from Cat Radio today, which has basically said that in yesterday's meeting, Ronald Koeman, he wasn't assured of his future, he wasn't told that he's going to be continuing next season, but actually, what he was told by Laporta is that, you know what, we are looking for replacements for you this summer, and we are going to continue to do so for at least the next 2 weeks. And Koeman was then told, if after 2 weeks we've not found a suitable replacement, you will continue in that role. And that, for me, it's kind of crazy. Actually, on the one hand there, that potentially Koeman has been told, you know what, you're still in a job for now. If we can find a replacement, though, you're kind of gone. And obviously we don't know whether that's true. I can understand there why the journalists would be saying, you know what, that is kind of disrespectful to Ronald Koeman. Of course he could walk away, but then he would be denying himself that rather big payoff that would be coming if he was to be sacked. But I think all of this highlights right now the feeling that Laporta, I think, wants to sack Koeman. I think those Those around him maybe are a little bit more forgiving. They want Koeman to stay on for one more season. But I've always had the feeling that Laporta, the kind of president he is, the kind of person that he is, he would not accept the results from Koeman of the season, and he would sack him if he had the choice. But the problem has always been that replacement. That is why Barça are looking. Reports now are saying that Laporta has been looking for a replacement for Koeman for quite some time. Pep Guardiola is the ultimate dream. That is the feeling right now in the Spanish media. With Laporta, I would imagine in Pep's ear, you know, of course, the two of them are very, very close. They enjoyed some of their best times in football together. He's probably in his ear right now saying, Pep, come on, come home, please. You know you want to do this. You know that Barça is the club of your heart. You've been saying that over the past few days over and over again. Come home with us. But, as I keep saying, I don't see that happening. Because indeed, Laporta may be close with Pep, it might be the dream, it might be his number one target, but that doesn't really change the fact that Pep is so happy at Man City. He's got a team right there playing so well. They're at the top of their game, they're in the Champions League final. Only yesterday was he speaking really about how happy he was there, how the conditions for him to work and succeed, they're so good. The Man City board give him everything that he wants. He has the resources there, as we know, but I think he just really enjoys the role that he has and the pressures that maybe are not so extreme as they were in Barça. And of course he has said on many occasions that he doesn't see himself returning as the head coach. There's also other names being thrown out there as well right now, alternatives. If indeed Laporta is looking elsewhere, Xavi Hernandez, although I still get the feeling Laporta is not quite sure whether it's Xavi's moment to come and lead this team. ERIK Ten Hag, I'm not sure why we're not going all out. Why aren't we talking to Ajax and saying, you know what, we want Ten Hag. What's it going to take to get him? Because I don't really understand why we haven't made that move yet. And we keep hearing the name of Mikel Arteta. He is somebody who keeps cropping up. I'm not 100% sure why, if I'm completely honest. And of course, Garcia Pimienta. I think it's really sad, actually, that he hasn't been given more prominence. I think he would certainly come into that job and actually deserve the opportunity, deserve the chance there to go and coach the first team, but he doesn't seem to be all that high on the list. And then just finally, just to add, you know, a little bit more fuel to the fire, there have been plenty of suggestions there in the media about waiting until after the Champions League final. Now, I'm not really sure what we can read into that. Is that, again, relating to Pep Guardiola? Do people think, you know, if he wins the Champions League at Man City, if he gets their first ever title in that competition, does that open the door a little bit more then for him to come to Barcelona, to return to the club? Or could it even relate to the other side, Thomas Tuchel, who's done really well to take Chelsea to the Champions League final? But if he was to lose that game, and of course Chelsea were really close to missing out on the top four in the Premier League. We know that Roman Abramovich is quite trigger happy when it comes to coaches, but could he become available after that game? Very unlikely, much like Pep. But that is the suggestion right now from the media, that, you know what, Koeman's future, it is anything but certain. We are still waiting here. Laporta is analysing. Koeman is being left in limbo. And I think what we have to do at this stage, guys, is just wait. Wait for that meeting, that next meeting to come. We don't know exactly right now when that is due to take place. And ultimately wait and see what happens maybe after the Champions League final. Pep is very much a dream. It's very much speculation, I feel, linking him to this Barcelona job. I myself, as much as I would love it to happen, like I say, I just don't see it. And if not him, then who can take over instead of Koeman? Or will he stay for at least one more season? Let me know your thoughts in the comments down below, guys. Do you see Koeman staying at the club, or do you see us going out there, and can Laporta find someone else to bring in? I will see you soon. You can count on that for more videos. But until next time, as always, Visca El Barça.